evening. Welcome back after a long break. Hope your holidays went well. The new year started. Yesterday I had a very long lecture in Queens already about how the new year is going to look based on what we see already. We, Be'ezrat Hashem, as of now, we're continuing here every Tuesday, 8:30. Please pass the word. Always check on my website, on events, if there's any change in the plan, because I have few trips coming up now. We don't know yet the dates. Make sure on the day of the lecture, always to check, to make sure that we are on as usual. Today we're continuing the series, which we took a very long break from, questions and answer series. One of the most common problems that we have in our life today is false beliefs. There's lots of false beliefs. It's a problem when you have real beliefs and false beliefs that are getting mixed together like an Israeli salad. And it confuses a lot of Jews who try to be Orthodox and follow the Word of God. You're not always sure what you're about to do, if it's come from the Torah or it comes from Idi Amin Dada. It's very hard to know. Why it's hard to know? Not everyone is educated. Not everyone learns all his life Torah and knows all the sources, what comes from the Torah and what's not. And even if people who knows Torah, not everyone knows Kabbalah, because there's many things come from Kabbalah, so they may not know that where it comes from. And the worst part is that many of these things come from what we call in the Gemara Darkei Emori, from the Goyim, from Gentiles. There are Gentiles and there are different Gentiles. When we say Gentiles, usually it's idol worshippers. Should also know one thing: every negative thing that was written in the Talmud against the Gentiles, always it says idol worshipper, akum, ovdei kochavim umazalot. I'm not talking about an ordinary goy, a Gentile. He can be a believer in God, he's not following any idol, simple human being, good, decent personality. He could be a lover of Israel. What's wrong with this kind of Gentile? Hashem made him like that. That means he wanted him to be like that. So they deserve all the respect in the world. Someone who doesn't like Gentiles in general is nothing but prejudiced. Prejudiced, racist, call it whatever you want. It's not only between Jews to Gentiles, it's between Jews to Jews, as we spoke about it many, many times. The nature of people, that they don't like easily someone that is different than them. Doesn't matter if you follow the same religion. It's not only Jews. All the people in the world. Look among the Arabs. Everyone who has a little bit of a different, even though they're following the same thing, same religion, same culture, same food, same clothes, most likely everything the same. It's enough there is one minor change between them already to distinguish between one to another. Like, I didn't know until a month ago that there's difference between Syrian Jews, Halabi and Shami. So when I was in Mexico, they made sure that I understand that they are different than the Halabim. They are Shami. And I said to myself, okay, but I myself don't see any difference. This is a Syrian Jew and this is a Syrian Jew. No, but I felt that they have something more to tell me. But they were afraid maybe. You understand? Same thing when you go to the Persian. We are Mashhadi. We're not just Persians. You understand? Or by the Bukharian. We are the ones that came from, near Moscow. We're not from the villages. You understand? And of course, everyone lives in a dream, thinking he's the best. Olam keminago noeg. The foolishness of this world is from day one, and perhaps it will never change. Everyone thinks it's the best. Wait, but it's a new year. We have no rules. No rules. All right, thank you. You got the point. Yes. Good. So the point is, The general rule, in every place there's good people and bad people. Good and bad people created by the actual people. They have a free choice if to be good or to be bad. It's up to them. If they want to work on themselves, they'll be good. It's a matter of time. They don't want to work on themselves, they'll stay bad, and it doesn't matter from what nationality they are. You understand? So if you decide to be a good person or not, it's up to you 100%. Just because your mother was born in this part of the world instead of the other part of the world doesn't change who you are. So we will speak today in general about false beliefs, and you see that many of the things that you follow, like it comes from the Ten Commandments, came from very rotten idol worshippers. So you gotta be careful. Why? You may come and say, okay, Rabbi, what do you care if I put garlic in my shoes? I believe it brings me good luck. What's the big deal? Worst comes to worst, I'll die one day, and I see that it did not bring me any good luck, like I thought. The answer is, if that was the case, you're right. No big deal. You did something, it was a waste of time, it didn't cause any harm. We move on. The problem is that 99% of those things that we do, it's actual sin from the Torah, just like eating pork. That's the problem, and that's why we have to talk about it now. Otherwise, why would we waste time on it? So let's give you some of the common examples that perhaps happens to us almost every day, and we'll see if we fall into this trap or not. First, when people speak about something and they worry that that bad thing would happen to them, they say knock on wood. They go like this. That's a Christian thing. If you do it, you're violating the rules of the Torah. It's the Christians who follow this story of JC that was on a wood cross, and by doing that, you're actually declaring that you want to be a Christian. So think again next time when you do it. It's against the law of the Torah. Even to Gentiles is forbidden. Even Vinny from Bay Ridge here, if he does it, it's a sin for him. Why? Because Christianity is 100% idol-worshipping religion. Do you understand? So therefore, if a Gentile or a Jew does it, that means I believe in the way of this false, foolish, idol-worshipping religion. And that obviously doesn't add points to your file when it comes to your relationship between you and God. There's something they call Reiki. Reiki. They claim it's curing people. It's come from the East. The question is Reiki an idol worshipping? The answer is no. But it's a sin that called in the Torah, Darkei HaEmori, ways of the Amorites. Amorites is only one of 7 nations who sat in the Holy Land. When Yoshua ben Nun came to occupy the Holy Land, there were 7 cursed nations living there. The Knaani, Amori, Achivi, Yevusi, Girgashi, all these nations that were there in Israel, they were all idol worshippers, despicable, cursed people. And the Torah says not to have any mercy on them, to destroy everything. If they run away, they run away. If they want to stay there, you have to destroy all their idol worshipping, and you force them to stop with their nonsense. If they don't stop, you kill them. If they stop, no problem. They can stay as regular Gentiles and live over there and leave their idol worshipping. So therefore, following these things, Reiki, that they say all kinds of things, that's called Darkei HaEmori, and it's not allowed. There's a very famous speaker in Israel that used to do it. He used to make fortune. And when he became religious, it never crossed his mind that he's violating the rules of the Torah. Until one simple lady asked him, Rabbi, is it kosher, what you do? For the first time, it made him think. And he went to big rabbis to ask if it's kosher, and they told him that it's not kosher. And he had to close the place that it opened, which was packed with people. You know, he was making fortune. He told me we made seminars together from time to time. And he told me the story. Do you know what a test it was? You're making fortune every day, every week, and you have to shut it, and then you have to start something new. Baruch Hashem, Hashem sent him the money from different direction. Whatever he gave up, he got it in a different way. But the idea was that it's against the law of the Torah. It's called Reiki.
Oh, he did Reiki.
Reiki. You know what Reiki is? If you don't know, better not to know. Just let's move on. Just remember the name. Not Reiki. Reiki. With 2 U's. Okay? Then, is it true that butterflies are souls? Some people believe that butterflies are soul. The answer, nonsense. What's the meaning of the word abracadabra that the magicians do? They say abracadabra. What's abracadabra? Abracadabra in Aramaic is abra, 1 word, ka, 2nd word, dabra, 3rd word. 3 different words in Aramaic, which means it should be as I said. You understand what they say, the magician? All magic shows are forbidden, but some says if the magicians start his show by admitting that it's all tricks, fast movements of the hand, and he admit that it's all a show and nothing more than a show, that he doesn't have any power, it's just trick the eye of the viewers. Some say it's allowed, not everyone. Some say it's still a sin from the Torah. The custom today is to be more lenient with that. If he admits that it's all, all the trick, they allow to bring magicians to children, and they have birthday and clowns, all these things. Usually they invite a magician that makes all kinds of tricks. What about astrology? The next question. Is astrology something that allowed in Judaism, or it's a sin from the Torah? What is it? The Rambam writes that astrology is a sin from the Torah. Every Jew who participates in anything that connects to astrology is violating the rules of the Torah. Just like stealing, just like eating pork. Every time he does it, it's a new sin from the Torah. Every sin from the Torah, it's a new punishment from Hashem. Not to talk about the curse that it brings to the life of a person. Astrology is against the Torah. That's what the Rambam wrote, the Rama in Shulchan Aruch, the Smag, the Meiri, the Ran, and many of the biggest rabbis in history. All of them unanimously that astrology is a very big sin. So therefore, not to talk about the fact if it's accurate or not, besides the point, regardless, even if it was right, it's still a sin from the Torah, and everyone who does those, that believes in it, or follow it, and read about it, and follow instructions based on it, is a violator of the Jewish Torah. You should know it. It's mamash, somebody gives you pork to eat, obviously you won't eat. I'm a religious person, you're serving me pork? And what happens if he serves you beef? It's not pork, but it's not glad kosher shchita. Also you're not going to eat. And astrology is just as bad. Yes?
I have a question regarding that. People's personalities, we know everyone has a basic nature. And Yesh Mazal Israel still, people are...
The opposite, it's an en mazal Israel. Israel me'ala mazal, but we're not talking about this kind of mazal. Mazal is something else. We are now talking about dealing with astrology. Remember, even if astrology was accurate, or is accurate, we're not even getting into that point. Today for sure it's not accurate, but even if it was accurate, even if you see in your own eyes that it's right, and he knows what he's talking about, it's a violation of the Torah. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avraham Avinu, Tzeh ma'hitztagnenut shelcha. Enough with following what the Egyptians say. The Egyptians of Pharaoh, they used to look at the stars and know all kinds of things back then. And that's how supposedly they know that they have to put Moshe in the water, and then that's how Miriam tricked them. She put Moshe in the Niles in a box. But they could not see all the details, so they saw that the savior of the Jewish nation is already in the water. So they thought he drowned, because Pharaoh was throwing all the babies. So they came back to Pharaoh and said, we don't have to kill them anymore. Chaval, it's slaves. Each one of them will worth money for us one day when they grow. They work for free. So you don't have to kill the babies. Why? Because they were able to look at the stars and see that the savior of the Jewish nation is already in the water. So based on this midrash, there is something in it. But today nobody can look at the stars right now and tell you, oh, we see that the movement of these stars will do this to you or to that. You're not allowed to follow this instruction. And all these astrology maps, all these things, it's all seen directly from the Torah. Remember that. It's not a recommendation not to believe in it or not to follow it. It's mamash a violation of the Torah. And also, it says, some people say, I'm not going today to do it because I saw a black cat just crossed the street in front of me. So I was about to do it, but when I came out of my home, a black cat just crossed the street, and because of that, we're going to postpone it to another day. The answer, also a sin. To believe in a black cat, that because he crossed the street, it's going to bring you bad luck. It's also Darkei Emori. It doesn't have any meaning.
Ibn Ezra, he wrote 7 books on astrology.
Yes, we know about that.
And also, there are many, when people don't understand a person.
Yeah.
How could a person understand a person without astrology?
Okay, so let me explain to you something. 99.999999999 until tomorrow % of the Jews in the history lived perfect life without it. The Rambam didn't follow it. All the other Gdolei Ador, none of them follow it. All the Chachamim of today, none of them open it. No one follow it. And what you say about the Ibn Ezra, the Ibn Ezra wrote it for people to know what to be careful from. Why? Because it says in the Sanhedrin, the Chachamim needed to know all the wisdoms in the world. Everything. Even things that are sins. The Chachamim needed to learn it. For instance, Kishufim. The Sanhedrin needed to know how to do black magic, even though it's against the Torah. Why? Because they have to judge people like this. They have to know what the fakers are saying. They have to know what the magicians are doing. They have to know what kishuf they did, how to handle it, what to do, what not to do. Same thing, I have to learn the nonsense of Christianity, which is pure waste of time. Why I have to do it if I know it's all nonsense? To know how to deal with the fakers and the liars who brainwash Jews to follow this foolish religion. Why do I have to learn it? Same thing about Islam. Because I believe in it? Because it's pleasant? No, it's a pure torture. But we still have to do it because we have to know how to deal with the enemy of God. You understand? Literally. And therefore, it says right here clearly, מה שרבי אברהם בן עזרא כתב ספרי אסטרולוגיה, the fact that Ibn Ezra wrote astrology book doesn't mean it's allowed to use it for Jews as actions. Because even to be in a part of the Sanhedrin, you have to learn all the wisdom of Kishufim. But it doesn't mean that the Chachamim who knows how to do Kishufim, they use it on a daily basis. Because it's against the Torah. Like the words of Chazal in the end of the 7th chapter of Sanhedrin, Lo tilmad la'asot, do not learn to do. To learn to do you're not allowed, but to learn to understand the nonsense out there you're allowed. You understand?
All this astrology thing, Cancer, other sign of the thing, that's against the Torah.
Against the Torah. All the signs, believing that if you're Aries, you're like this, or if you were born in this sign, you are like that, and if you're going to be in that week, this star is moving into that one, and it's going to bring you wealth. This is all against the Torah. It's called Lo Tenachashu.
I asked a couple of rabbis from Israel who came to New York. I asked them, I said, no, it's completely in the frame of the Torah. I was trying to tell them, they said, no, it's in the frame.
It's a very common mistake. First, when they read in the Torah that Avraham Avinu, was looking at the star, they see the Egyptians or Pharaoh was looking at the stars, but they don't know the entire picture. It's true that the Gemara say that Hashem say Yud Bet Mazalot Barati Barakia. There are 12 different sections, and Hashem describe how the earth goes around, and it's each month is a different sign. all of that. But that's not, never in a history you saw that Jews follow it. When did you see in a history on Shulchan Aruch that it says that you're allowed to get advice based on that? All the advices are only based on the Torah, based on halacha, and everyone who gets an advice based on that is a pure sinner, nothing else. That's it. And if anybody ever tell you that astrology is kosher, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's against the Torah. But it's not only astrology. You're going to get the shock of your life in the next hour. How many things that you do on a daily basis is a direct violation of the Torah without actually realizing it. Let's move on. So we already spoke about black cat. Black cat is also pure nonsense. Someone who believes that he will bring him bad luck, it's a violation of the Torah. Someone who believes that a glass that broke, right, or a plate that broke, they say good luck, mazal tov, it's very good luck. Also a sin. Also a sin. What's the connection between a plate that broke to a good luck or bad luck? First of all, the whole term of luck doesn't exist for Jews. Israel me'ala mazal. Second of all, if something breaks, what's exactly the good luck about it? That someone just lost $10 or $20, the value of the plate?
No, that you're going to buy a new plate.
Next thing, all these magnets bracelet that people get. Magnet, it takes away the bad energy, special stone, all these things that is very common today to fool the fools.
What about this thing on the hand?
Yeah, we'll get to it. Don't jump with questions. Eventually, probably I'll answer all your questions one way or the other. So everyone who believes in these magnets, who takes the bad spirit or bad energy from the body, it's all pure, but real pure nonsense. Magnet doesn't take anything out. Magnet doesn't change anything in the body. The body is not made from metal. You understand? Baruch Hashem, it's not made from metal. All these ideas of the crooks who make millions because the world is full of ignorance, it's about time we realize it, not to waste our time and money on it. Is it such a thing, bad number? Good numbers and bad numbers? Oh, this is a good number. You should do the shidduch. When was she born? On the 13th, Rabbi. Oh, 13 is bad luck. Oh, you don't know in the elevator there's no number 13? Friday the 13th, this is all Christian nonsense. 13th, if any, should have been a good number. Right? It's Gematria Echad. Right? 13, it's all the letters of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov together. Right? And the mothers of the Jewish nation. If any, it's a number that a lot of good is connects to it. But one way or the other, I don't want you to make that mistake. There's no good number and bad numbers. The number 7 is unique. We see that through the entire Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a lot of attention to this number 7. Everything goes around 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So, doesn't mean that because 7 is special in the eyes of Hashem, so now because you chose number 7, you're going to have better luck than if you chose number 8. You understand? 7 is a significant number in the Torah. It symbolizes going out of the material world. The material world has 6 dimensions. South, north, west, east, up and down. You understand? So 7 is coming out of material. That's it. That's why Shabbat is the 7th day. That 6 days a day, the world of material. And going into the 7 is going into spirituality. But that's just about it. Yeah.
Breaking the glass under the chuppah is no connection to Masechet.
Breaking the glass is a memory of the destruction of Bet HaMikdash. And the fact that everyone begins to sing and to clap after they break the glass, Mazal Tov, that's a mistake. That's the time to cry, if any. Because the only reason that we put that glass in the chuppah to break it is to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though we're very happy because we're getting married tonight, we still remember that your home is broken and destroyed, and we don't have the temple. So when people begin to sing, when we memorize the destruction of the temple, everyone, like ignorance, begin to sing. It should have been the other way around.
No, break the glasses and no reaction.
No,
And cry.
breaking. I didn't say to cry because it's, after all it's a wedding, but that should be a moment of silence, if any. Not all the singing begins after the destruction of the, memorizing the destruction of the temple. Next thing, shh, the ladies talk too much today. What happened? Huh? An idea?
In Chassan, as an artist role, where after they break the glass, the person who sings on the chuppah starts singing a song, like a and then and everyone's quiet, and then after he finishes, that's when everyone starts singing.
Oh, so they learned something. Very good. Next thing, someone who sits in the corner of the table. It's a sign that he would not get married in the next 7 years. The answer, pure foolishness. Doesn't matter where you sit in a table, in a corner, in the other corner, as long as you don't sit on the table. Because the table is like a Mizbeach, you give respect to the table, you can sit in a corner, there's no problem. Don't worry about the marriage. If any, should we get married faster for not believing this nonsense? Is it true that we're not allowed to buy shoes as a gift to someone else because it's going to create separations between us? That's another belief. Don't buy shoes to anyone because it's going to ruin the relationship between you and him. The answer, the only way is if you give him one shoe and you keep one for yourself. Then it's a problem. But if you give him both shoes, you're good. Don't worry. It's false belief. Rabbi, I heard it's bad to pass the sign from a knife from hand to hand. Don't give the knife to someone's hand. Put it on the table and let him take it. Bread is a different story. It's a sign of Avelim. It's a different story. But knife, don't change what I say. Stick to the topic. Now you have knife. You want to give it to someone. Bad luck or no? Also false belief. False belief. It comes from non-Jewish sources. The word sartan means cancer. Many people are very worried not to say this word, thinking if they say it, it may come to them. Does it have a source?
Yes, it has a source. Particularly if you do it after sunset, you cannot say this word.
Not true. This word
It comes from the Kabbalah, that you cannot say these things and mention his name after the sunset. You, by the way, by the Kabbalah, Rabbi, can, because you know how to handle it.
No, after sunset, there is Midat Adin, and it's not good to do confession and Yagmidot, things that it's merciful. But to say words of the name of a disease or names of, that are supposedly negative, there's no restriction on it.
Or the name of the Satan.
Huh?
The name of the Satan.
Even the name of the Satan. We don't say names of angels loud. There's some bad angels that we don't say loud. But again, this is all mystical things. We're now talking what's the law. Allowed, not allowed, recommended. That's what we're talking here about. Can we know the quality of the human being based on the month that he was born and what sign he is on the horoscope? תגיד לי, איזה מזל הוא? מזל שור. מזל הקרב, problematic. הקרב, it's people that like this and this and that. This is pure nonsense.
Definitely pure nonsense.
Pure nonsense. Wait, Shem Tov, it's not a debate here. You asked your questions, you got your answers. Now, the next thing here, Chamsa, against Ayin Hara. Chamsa against Ayin Hara, is it a kosher custom or no? The answer, it comes from the Arabs. The hand of Fatima. You know who was Fatima? Yes. The Arabs made it up. You know who was Fatima? The wife or the daughter of Muhammad? What difference does it make? It came from Muhammad.
Daughter.
Wife.
The daughter? I'm confused already. No, I think it was his daughter, yeah. Doesn't matter, his daughter, his wife. That's not what's important right now. One thing it is important that many Jews willing to swear holding the Torah that comes from Kabbalah. And they even have a beautiful explanation to it. It's called Mantzapach, because it's 5 ending letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And the Chamsa, it's against Ayin Hara. It's good to have a necklace with Chamsa and put the letter Hey on it. It's protect you from all evil eye. The answer is, it's not coming from any Jewish source. Next thing is,
How about that menorah?
menorah is from Bet HaMikdash. Signs of the menorah, it's from Bet HaMikdash. There is a person who advertises that he can read in a palm and tell you things and give you great recommendation. Allowed or not allowed? What do you think? The answer? The answer is all of that, it's pure nonsense. Even though, according to Kabbalah, there's the wisdom of the face, there's things that they can look at the hand and see certain things about you. Those things does not exist anymore. As many of the things that we used to know 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 500 years ago, and nobody knows anymore. But there are many people who pretend that they know. And that's very dangerous, because not only they don't know anything, usually they will clean your pockets from every dollar you have there. And they are expert in doing it. Especially when they want to get your money, they're going to look at your hand and say, oh, I see a tragedy is coming. I see something very bad is coming. But don't worry, there's a way to stop it. How? You have to give 180,000 to a special place. We're going to do a special tikkun for you. But I don't have, Rabbi. He will help you to sell your house. Don't worry, you know. This is usually how it ends. And if you're still not convinced, the next thing they threaten you that they see a sickness is on the way to you. And therefore you have to be very, very careful. The red strings that they give in the Western wall, and they want you to give them 100 shekel from that, even though it costs them less than a penny. What is it? There is any source to it in Kabbalah, like some of the Hollywood stars believe? No. The answer, it's total nonsense. Well, yeah, come to me, I'll give you for free as much as you want, strings. You know, if you want the needles, I give you the needles also. It's total nonsense. All these people who walk with that, violating the rules of the Torah, believing that by putting this string, it's going to change their luck to good instead of believing in Hashem. That's mean replacing Hashem with nonsense, and that's dangerous. That's what the pasuk say, Oti azvu mekor mayim chaim, lachtzov lahem borot nishbarim. They leave me when I am their ocean to replace me with a hole in the ground that you have to dig, maybe some water will come out. What about when you feel there is bad luck in a house, so you decide to wash the whole house now, to purify the house by washing the floors, the walls, so believing by washing the house, cleaning away the bad luck from the house. What about this?
That's true.
Is it true or it's nonsense?
No, it's not.
It's good to clean the house from time to time, but it's nothing to do with luck. Next question.
Rabbi, you said in one of your lectures,
Yeah.
I know all your lectures.
Yeah.
One of your lectures that a person comes to, is supposed to do Chanukah Habayit.
Chanukah Habayit is something else.
The person beforehand could live in the house and they could put a bad thing on the wall.
Right. No, but then for that you paint. You take away all the avodah zarah that they did, if they did smoke or things like that. But we're not talking now when you move into a new house. We're talking in general, when you feel bad luck in a house, all of a sudden, Pesach starting. Next thing, what about we have a broken mirror in a house? Someone told us that it brings very bad luck to the house. Broken mirror. True or not? There's no source for it. You can have a broken mirror. What's the connection between luck or what you get in life to a piece of glass if it's broken on a wall or not? Some people have a custom when they itch their eyes, they always kiss after. It's a very common thing. I've seen thousands of people in my life doing it. They go like this. Sometimes all day they stuck with a kiss. No, maybe they learned it from one of the holy Kabbalists. The answer, one fool invented it and everyone copied him. Same thing, one time there was one Hasidut, the Rebbe had pain in his shoulder. So while he was praying, he went like that, because he felt pain. So he wanted to release the tension that he has in his shoulder. So this Hasidut for already 200 years, whenever they come to this place in a prayer, everyone goes like this. But nobody knows why. Well, they say there's Kabbalah secrets. I just made it up in case you didn't realize. There's no such Hasidut, Baruch Hashem. But you get the point. Then, is it true that the cat has 9 souls? Or 7 souls? They say, it's very common to say now. He's like a cat, like Chatul. יש לו 9 נשמות. He has 9 souls. Can't kill him. The answer is no. The Christians believe that the cat is the devil. Some of them, Christians or other cults. Where does it come from? This belief in a cat?
Gemara says, with the shape.
Huh? Going to my lectures about sgulot, about kmeot, how do you say kamea? Amulets. There's a lecture about amulets explaining the whole secret with the cats in Europe, with the rats, that they blame the Jews for poisoning the water. It's a whole long story. You can go over there and see, over there. Next thing, I just bought a brand new car. Someone told me to break an egg on it. It's very good for Ayin Hara. The answer, Darkei Emori, it's a sin from the Torah to believe that by breaking an egg on your car, it's going to protect the car from jealous people that are on the way to scratch it. If you think we're going to break the glass and the egg. Also, breaking the egg for nothing, it's another sin. What sin is that? Bal tashchit. Not allowed to throw food. So therefore, it's 1.5 sins here. One sin is believing in nonsense against Hashem. And the second thing is wasting an egg.
And one more thing, you're going to screw your car because you're going to damage your pay.
Next thing is, some people believe that if they need to get an answer, if to move to Israel, if to take the job, if to quit their job, if to marry this girl, if to give the donation, all these things, so the answer would be in the Lubavitcher Rebbe book. You have to take his book, you open, you put your note somewhere there, and you get the answer. For every story that someone told you that he got his answer over there, I'll show you 100 that got nothing. So therefore, if someone thinks that by opening any book and getting his answer from Hashem is going to determine his life based on this opening that book, the answer is total nonsense. Sometimes the Satan will give you the advice because the Satan wants to destroy you spiritually. And if the Satan wants you to move from this city to another city, knowing over there will destroy you and your children, the book will open San Francisco. And you have to move there now. And I don't want to tell you what's going to happen in 10 years. So now you're probably thinking, but the Gaon Mivilna had Goral Agra and the Chida. First of all, you have to know one thing. I did it a few times and it worked beautifully. But we're not talking about personal interest here. We're talking emergencies. I'll give you an example. One time, I had a Yemenite guy that lived here in Avenue U with his father. Avenue U in Flatbush. His parents were divorced. He lived with his father. Started to become religious. Became a Baal Tshuva. we agree. I used to speak on Wednesday there in Avenue J in East 14, those days, maybe 15 years ago. So I say to him, I'm taking you to the yeshiva next Wednesday, prepare everything. When I come next Wednesday, I'll pick you up. We'll go to the lecture, we finish the lecture, I take you to Monsey. That was the plan. When I arrived there, he said to me, no, I cannot come today. My father found out that I'm going to yeshiva. I went crazy, that I'm leaving work. I was working in real estate. So my father is very angry now. It's not a good time to pack my bag and to come down. But maybe next week, we'll see. So I said to him, I'm very sorry. I came all the way here to pick you up. It's a very important thing to take a person to yeshiva. It's not a joke. I can't leave here without you. That was the plan. I'm waiting for you to come down. I know how the Yetzer Hara is, the evil inclination. When a person is about to make a move that will determine his entire eternity, the Satan is fighting. So we arguing, making a long story short, for about 20 minutes or more, we arguing, and he doesn't come down. So now, already it's 9 o'clock, and I was supposed to start the lecture. I'm beginning to get calls now. No, are you coming? What's going on? I say, yeah, I'm having an emergency here. I'm running a little late. Now he came down to talk to me on the street because his father getting angry, standing next to him on the phone, that is even arguing with me. Like, hang up the phone. So he came down. We arguing on the street. Now it's already 9:10, 9:15. People are calling. The place is packed. Where are you? I say to him, I don't care. I don't even go to the lecture. Let the lecture get canceled. He said, why? It's people waiting. Why are you putting pressure? I say, I don't care. I have right now a mitzvah to do. That's my next mitzvah. Right now I'm stuck in this mitzvah. I can't leave until I complete my mitzvah. No, you cannot do it to me. I saw no matter what I do, this Yemenite guy is stubborn, like he doesn't want to even think. So I say, okay, I am basically lost here. I got to run to the other lecture. I have nothing else to do. I say, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? Hashem will make a miracle to me, fine. He won't make a miracle to me. I stay what I have. I have to live anyway without him. Nothing for me to lose. So I took out the Chumash from my car, and I said, let's make a prayer, and we'll beg Hashem to show what he wants you to do. You agree? But you must do it. No more arguments after that. So he's thinking, oh, there is such a thing. I say, yeah, it's called Goral Achida. Goral Agra, you turn 7 pages. There's Goralot. You want to do Goral? He said, yeah. I said, but remember, you must do what it says, what comes on the right side. He said, okay, let's do it. We made a special prayer. We opened up the Chumash, first row, on the right side. והנשארים בכם ימעקו בעוונם אשר מעלו בי. Those of you who will stay will be melted to death for betraying me. He said, give me 2 minutes. He came with the bag taller than his head. Today is a rabbi in Bnei Brak. So that's nothing to lose. That's called as a last option, yes. But it's not a gimmick here. He comes in the morning, fixes hair by the mirror. Where is the Chumash? Let's see what I have to do today. Do I have to go to work? Oh, it's a beach over here. Bnei Israel crossed the ocean. Mom, I'm going to the beach. Some people are like that. Everything goralot. No. Let's not be a fool. Same thing, those books. The Rabbi say that this, you have to do, you have to be careful, you saw what the Rabbi think. Enough with this. Next thing, can I read in a coffee my future? They have Turkish coffee, mud, boats. They go like this, flip it over, and the fools are paying for it. It's one thing being a fool, believing that the coffee tells you the future. No. Where is your head? But to pay money? I don't have a word for that. So, a sin from Darkei HaEmori, violation of the Torah. actual איסור דאורייתא מדרכי האמורי. Do we have to fear that someone made a knot on the mazal of a kala, and because of that she cannot become pregnant? Somebody lacked her mazal. Lacked her mazal. You know what lacked her mazal? Her fortune. Maybe Ain Hara, maybe this guy dated another girl before, and this girl is makpida. Because of that, this new girl cannot become pregnant. All this is nonsense. If you start thinking like that, it will mess up your life to such a point that the religion will not have any value anymore. This is it. A person become crazy from all these kind of things. Am I allowed to kill a lizard that walks in a house? Because I heard it's very bad luck that some of those lizard and leopards, they walk inside the house, these little ones. So it's mitzvah to kill them, to take away the bad luck from home. The answer is nonsense. Lizard, leopards, cockroaches, all these things have nothing to do with luck, or good things or bad things that will happen or will not happen to you in your life. Am I allowed to go to someone that claims that he has superpowers in his hand, is able to take away bad spirits, is able to make your parnasa double, he has all kinds of talent that Hashem gave him, that by putting his hands, he's going to take away your back pain, and all kinds of other things? Is it permitted to go to these people? The answer, all these claims are all lies. Nothing was ever proven that anyone has power in his hands. Everything is all one big magic scam. You heard that or no? And I have a whole lecture about Uri Geller and all his friends. If you listen to that lecture, you're going to find out about all the tricks, how they do it, what they got caught, who sued them, how they lost in court. You don't know the whole picture. You only know what they want you to know.
Acupuncture as well?
Acupuncture is something else. That's already pinching nerves in the body, in certain places of the body. Acupuncture, I have a whole lecture about it. It was never proven as helping. It was never proven as something that is scientifically helping, like Advil. Person has headache. He wants to get rid of the headache. He takes 2 Advil. An hour later, the headache is gone. If it's not for the whole 100 people, 98 people will tell you by taking it, it does something to the body. If it's good or not or bad, I don't know. It may cause cancer. We don't know. Some of this chemical medicine may help right now and create a much bigger problem a year later. So I'm not coming to recommend any medicine. But right now for the headache, was it proven to work? The answer is yes. You see it right away. Another one, and another one, and another one. I went myself to these acupunctures, different ones, never helped anything. I know a few other people went, it did not help. Some people claim it does help them. Why? It's called placebo. By giving fake medicine, or by telling your brain that they're doing certain things to help your pain, automatically makes the brain readjust. They're fooling the brain. And again, I have a whole series of lectures about all these topics. Today, briefly, I'm touching it quickly and moving from one topic to another. Is it a bad luck to have a shoe that is flipped over in the house? Go quickly, flip the shoe. Bad luck. Your sister is getting married tomorrow. Before we get a call that it's all canceled, run quickly. Flip the shoe. Wow, she's screaming like the Malach HaMavet came home. The answer, where does it come, this nonsense from? That the shoe is like that, or if the shoe is on the side, it's bad luck. Shtuyot. Darkei Haemori, all these things is mamash invention of people.
What about all the stuff written in the Sefer Hasidim? Do we follow? I know not about his kids, all the other stuff, very hiji-biji stuff, witches and all this different things. Is that seriously?
Let's put it that way. For us, the Sfaradim doesn't apply at all. The Ashkenazim has an issue with that. It applies to them. If he meant to his own children or he meant it to the entire community, it's an argument between the Chachamim. Some of the things that he wrote there is against the halakha. You know, the halakha say one thing, and what he says is a different thing than the halakha. So it's create a contradiction. I rather not get into it because we're not talking about just another person who comes from the street and talks about. This is Rabbi Yehuda Hasid. He's a giant Chacham. Understand? But again, we are now talking about right now what to do, how to live, what's to be worried about, what not to be worried about. That's what we care about right now. Next thing, I'm dating a guy that his brother is in mental institution, not mental, special aid. He has difficulties in his brain. Slow, I don't know exactly the right word for the situation of his brother. And they said that the reason that the brother is like that is because of Ayin Hara. Should I be worried? The answer, nonsense. It's nothing. Next thing, is it a problem to tell people what kind of baby I'm going to have, a boy or a girl? Is it bad for Ayin Hara or not? What do you think? Your parents want to know if they should buy tickets to come from Israel to the Brit or not. The earlier they order the ticket, it will save them hundreds of dollars. You cannot wait until you give birth and then a week before the flight they buy a ticket for double of the price. But the wife insists. You don't tell your parents. I'm warning you. It's mazal ra. It's bad luck. It's Ayin Hara. The answer is no Ayin Hara. You can tell the nurse right away in the beginning of the pregnancy to tell you if you have a boy and a girl, it's no problem. It's not against the halakha. Actually, it saves you a lot of headache later on. You know if to prepare for a brit, not to be nice to the gabbai in shul, not to be nice because he may not give you that date. It saves you a lot of headache. Am I allowed to have long hair? This is a question by a man for beauty. He wants to have hair. Go back to Woodstock days, you know? But he has a little quarter yarmulke inside. He bury it inside the hair. I've seen some. Jewish hippies. They come with a guitar, they rip jeans, the sandals. They're not decided yet if they're shepherds or they're hippies. They get confused. So they have a flute in one pocket, the guitar. I don't want to tell you what else they have in their pockets. Is it the way of the Jewish way? The answer, it's chukot hagoyim, shachatz vega'ava, many violations. And according to the Zohar, it brings judgment on the human being. The longer the man's hair is, the more problems he will have in his life. You feel good, you have short hair, I see. Very good. Not to talk about if some of them has this Elvis mountain over here in the front, that tefillin doesn't touch the skull. And according to some opinion, it's a problematic issue if the tefillin does not touch the skull. How do you want the tefillin to touch? You have to bring a gorilla to push it down, because the hair is keep pushing it up. And it's constantly moving all the time. That's not the way of the Jews.
That's why Hasidim shave their hair?
Yes, 100%. That's why Hasidim keeps their hair as short as possible. As soon as it grows a little bit, right away, they run to the barber. Because of this reason. At least it has a source. Okay? Yeah. I never understood that Gemara, but yeah, how every day? Yeah, but how every day? Every day the hair grows. Are we allowed to take a haircut or shave the beard at night when it's midat adin, after sunset, between sunset and midnight, Jewish midnight? I spoke about astrology, you walked in. I spoke about all these things. Hashem is doing too many miracles in this room. Maybe a tzaddik built this shul, Baruch Hashem. Ishtabach Shemo. Next, I want to tell you a story. One time I used to give a lecture, right, not far from here. It used to be the Israeli home. Why it's called the Israeli home? Israelis who cannot afford to pay rent, they just came to America, they see an ad. You can live in a nice house, 3 floors, with a bunch of other Israelis for free. Food for free, rent for free. All we want from you is to sign that you participate in a lecture every night between 8 and 10 p.m. The rest of the day you can do whatever you want. Find a job, you have your room, you live with your friends, you have kitchen. Why not? 2 hours a day you learn Torah. Some of them, that was the only option, so they came there. Who did they send to give them shiur? So I got there, I used to go there on Mondays. So I have 2 guys. One has hair, Michael Jackson multiplied by 5. Like this. Like an afro, but Israeli afro. The other one has hair like this, up with gel, very long in the back, but you know his hair. So now I sit with these 2 Israeli guys from 8 o'clock until 11 p.m., not 10. The shiur went an extra hour because there was a lot of action. All 3 hours proving to them that they must take a haircut. That it's not good to have such hair, but they are in love with their hair more than what a woman is in love with her shoes. They go crazy not to cut their hair. So after 3 hours, I'm doing everything I can. I show them what the Zohar, this, Dinim, nothing else. You know how long it took me to grow it? All of a sudden, 11 p.m. in a house in the middle of Flatbush, quiet on the streets. Most people are falling asleep. Somebody walk in. Who walks in? 11 o'clock. The most famous barber in the history of Brooklyn. Gil Nachman, the famous Gilly the barber. From King's Highway, corner of, all the Israelis here used to go to his hair salon. Not far from Chulon and Bat Yam groceries there. Gilly the barber, very famous now, Baruch Hashem is in Israel, he made Aliyah. Gilly and Lior, 2 partners. Gilly walks in, 11 o'clock at night, doesn't know what's the topic of the lecture, nothing. He doesn't know that I'm already dropping 3 hours of sweat on the floor trying to convince these 2 guys to take a haircut. He walks in with a haircut machine and scissors. He walks in holding it in his hand. Hi, Rabbi. What are you doing? He said, I was nearby. I heard you giving a lecture here, so I came to say hi. But why do we have haircut machine and scissors? He said to me, I have clients that cannot come to my shop. So I go to their house to give them private haircut in their homes, and they pay me extra. So I was right away, right here, half a block away. So I decided to come say hi. So I look at both of them, and I say, Kadosh Baruch Hu sent you a barber to here at 11 o'clock at night to take a haircut. You're not going to take a haircut? So they say, yeah, he's right. It cannot be a coincidence. This guy walks in 11 o'clock. So they took a haircut. So when the first guy, Oren, took a haircut, when he was in the shower, all of a sudden we hear, no! You know, like someone that got a call that the dearest person in his life, God forbid, passed away. That kind of scream. He came out, what did I do? The other one also took a haircut. And then the other one was a very clever guy. He was working here in Eagle's Bakery in Borough Park. Yossi Eagle is the owner. It still exists, this bakery. He was working in a bakery 15 years ago. So I said to him, now it's time for you to come to Monsey, to the yeshiva, after you remove all the dinim, the judgment. Now I'm taking you to the yeshiva. Fine, yes, well, I have to give my boss a notice. You know, I have some errands. Next week when you come, I'll come with you to the yeshiva. I said, next week you won't know my name. Right now I'm here, pack your stuff. I'm taking you with me to the yeshiva. After another argument, The guy said, no, I can't. I said, don't worry, I speak to Mr. Riegel, I convince him, I'm sure he's going to be more than happy that you come to yeshiva. So he said to me, I said to him, after all these arguments, he doesn't want to come. So I said to him, how much money you have in your wallet? So he said, what? He takes up. So I said, $200. I said, give it to me as deposit, security. He said, for what? I said, if you promise you come on Sunday to yeshiva on your own, when you walk into the yeshiva, as soon as I see you, I give you the $200. If you don't come by Sunday, I put it in the tzedakah box of the yeshiva. That's it. Deal? Thinking, all week he's making $300-$400. We're talking 15 years ago. He said, deal. Sunday, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1:30, lunchtime. They both walks in with their bags. Right away, I took the $200. I gave him the $200. He looked at me. So you know why I'm here? For the $200, I worked very hard for it. Today is one of the biggest rabbis in Israel. Not just a genius, computer head. Within 2-3 years, they say to him now, every yeshiva he goes, it's too low for you. You need something much greater. Computer head, this guy, one of the two. Both of them got married, Baruch Hashem, everything worked out. Aval, a moment, the Yetzer Hara, a moment can turn everything to the good or to the bad side. So are we allowed to take haircut at night? The answer, yes. Some goes according to Kabbalah, based on the words of the Arizal, not to take haircuts after noon, midday. But the halacha, that is allowed. The Ari say, based on Kabbalah, it's more judgment in the world, better not to. Maybe the fact that the Ari say that, because remember, in the old days, they used to go to a non-Jewish barber, and this Muhammad who was about to cut your hair, and he's holding a razor and a scissor, there's nothing he would love more than to slaughter you. Based on that, maybe they were very cautious when they used to go to non-Jewish barber. But today you can go to Shimon the barber or Yitzchak the barber. Every barber shop is Bukharian, one of us. You don't have to worry. None of them will slaughter you. They maybe slaughter your pocket, but they won't touch your neck. Don't worry. And even is reasonable prices, no problem.
Cut nails at night?
Cut nails allowed to cut nails.
At night?
Yes, even at night, same idea, like Kabbalah, same idea. Huh?
Rizal says that the guy shouldn't do it because it has an effect negatively on the Tzelem Alakim. The Tzelem Alakim can be hurt by a guy Shabbat.
Yeah.
Not because of physical danger, spiritual danger.
Very nice. My wife does not want me to cut my hair. Am I allowed to grow my hair for Shlom Bayit? She loves her husband more handsome, looking like a lady. That's the taste that his wife has. You're laughing, some of you, but this is reasonable questions. It happens every hour. I get these questions at least once a week. The wife wants him with long hair. Shlom Bayit is mitzvah, but you don't make mitzvah through sins. Therefore, you cannot listen to your wife. Talk to her heart, soften her, buy her something nice. Eventually she'll give up that dream.
But the seed is now, and mitzvah is then. So it's not the mitzvah or avera. So yes, you can do it.
No, as soon, while you're cutting the hair, as the hair falls off, the Shlom Bayit increased immediately when she begins to smile. I mean the other way around, when you grow the hair.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So it's not the mitzvah is later.
Got you. Okay.
That's why in this case, yes, you can do it.
A young guy that's starting to have white hair, and it bothers him in his shidduchim, because when he goes on a date, the girls say, you don't look 22. Are you sure you're not lying in the application? He said, you want to see my driver's license? Everyone thinks he's 10 years older because of the white hair. So he's asking if he's allowed to dye his hair. Overall, every act that a man does, that it's a normal act of women, it's a sin from the Torah. The Torah says a man cannot behave like a woman and a woman cannot behave like a man. Therefore, we have a problem right now. If this man dye his hair like the ladies do, ladies are allowed. Is he allowed to do it? The answer, everyone who dyes his hair violates a sin from the Torah of lo ilbash. The man cannot behave like a woman. But there is an exception to the rule. If it caused the person horrible grief, depression, it destroyed his confidence, it sees that it's affecting his shidduchim and all that, some poskim, not everyone, some still say it's not allowed. Some are allowed. One of the most Hasidic poskim in the world, maybe the biggest, allowed one person that we had in yeshiva, maybe 16, 17 years ago. He told me, I told him, how did you dye your hair? It's against the halakha. He told me, I went to this rabbi, it's Gdol Ador. And he told me, if that's causing you what it caused you, you are allowed. So we see there is an exception to the rule. Why? Because it's already a questionable issue if dyeing the hair is definitely an act of a woman. Yes, it's something that the women does. But the question is, was it only specifically correct to women? That's a question. And also, for the sake of getting married, same idea when it comes to plastic surgeries. Plastic surgeries, there are many different ones, such as nose, such as eyes, wrinkles, all kinds of things that people do to look younger and better. So if somebody has a problem getting married because he has some kind of problem in his beauty, for the ladies, no question that it's permitted. If it's increasing her chance to get a better shidduch and faster, she's allowed to do it. Even by men, it's allowed. It's not as common, because by the men, the beauty is not as critical as it's like by the ladies, but definitely by the ladies, we see in all the poskim, if it's for the sake of marriage, they allow it. Also for the sake of shlom bayit. If a woman got older and she has problems in a relationship with her husband, the poskim allow her to do, if this surgery can make her situation looks better, for the sake of shlom bayit, also allowed. But the problem with these things, sometimes it becomes addictive. Some people started with that and they ended up like a chimpanzee face. I don't want to tell you who. You know probably who I'm talking about.
I asked her if you find something, said in his name of his father, Moshe, that they wanted to keep egg in Yeridea, that since all the going to the dyeing of the hair, it's not an Isser on the...
Oh, here you go. So we have a beautiful backup here in the name of Rav Moshe Feinstein that says since it's a common thing by non-Jewish men to dye their hair, it's not an act of ladies. Therefore, he's allowing it. So all the men here that dyes their hair can now have a relief. No problem. Baruch Hashem. Now, don't ruin the hair. It's in the name of Rabbi Akiva Iger. Yeah.
Plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Because you're getting anesthesia.
Yeah.
And that's a shmartin nafshisa.
Aha. But today, no. But when we go,
Doing it for
nishmartem lana.
not for a medical reason.
If a person has a danger to his life more than the probable danger that is acceptable, then it could be a problem. But if something normal, there's no problem. If 1 to 1 million people may have complication by receiving anesthesia, that's not a reason now to say to 999,999 people not to do a plastic surgery, because out of the last million surgery, 1 died in the middle of anesthesia. Why? This person had to die, and he died in the middle of anesthesia. But if it's a probable danger, which means for every 1,000 one die, that's already a high percentage. It's more than the acceptable way to die, then it's fine. But even to walk on the street, the person die 1 out of million per day. Walking on the street, things can fall on your head. Someone throws something, is throwing the television from the window because his wife got addicted to it, so it falls on someone's head. Can also die by walking on the street. Somebody can stab you. Somebody can rob you. A car can go off the road and go to the sidewalk. I one time spoke in a shiva, one Israeli guy that worked in a moving company, he went down to smoke. He couldn't smoke in the office, so every once in a while he goes down, he stands by the bus stop outside, smoke, and a car went on the sidewalk and killed him. What was the odds that he would stand on a sidewalk and a car from the road will come on a sidewalk and kill him with few other people? So danger to die exists all the time. It is not 1 second in our life that we are not in a danger to die. However, there is a danger and there is a danger. Going to anesthesia, even by the dentist, they give them all kinds of things to numb them, whatever. It could also be a complication. So the fact that it happens every once in a while doesn't mean it's nishmartem lenafshotechem. The next thing is having long peot, sideburns. Some people, some groups in Judaism, they're very makpid and having long peot. Is it the law or it's chumrah, extra? Is it the requirements or no? The answer, like every other chumrah, no obligation to have long peot. However, in some groups that they already have this custom, the entire community, for tens or for hundreds of years, someone who wants to stop it because he learned that it's only chumrah and it's not an obligation based on the law, he cannot do it. Unless if he moved to a different community. That's a different story. Then he does atarat nedarim and he can take it off. But if he lives in his community and he takes it off, even though it's not a requirement by law, it's only a chumrah, that's caused something that called chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem is the biggest sin in Judaism. So by taking it off, you actually don't have a sin not having long peot. That's not a sin, to have peot normal like that. But to have it for years and take it off, that's a very big thing. It's create chilul Hashem. Everyone talks about it. Everyone is whispering, making up stories. Now you may say, but the chilul Hashem is because of the people, not because of the reality. He didn't do anything wrong. Somebody thought he ate pork, and in the end he didn't, because there was a misunderstanding. And he created a big chilul Hashem. That's my problem. The answer, chilul Hashem, is chilul Hashem regardless if it's justified or not. Based on the answer of Rav Elyashiv, as I told you a few times in the past, that one Baal Tshuva asked Rav Elyashiv, what's worse, to drive a truck of secular newspapers for delivery? I'm only the driver, I don't touch the newspapers. I'm only driving it, but everyone see a guy with a beard and yarmulke driving the secular newspaper from store to store. Or to drive a Russian pickup truck delivering pork. Big picture of chazir, a pig with Russian letters on top of it. The Russians opened thousands of pork stores in Israel, flooded Israel with pigs, and now they deliver all this meat, and he has a beard and a yarmulke, and he delivers this pork, even though he doesn't touch it. He's in a back refrigerator. He is only the driver. He asked Rav Elyashiv which one is worse, and the answer was, of course, to drive secular newspaper is a much bigger sin than to eat pork. To eat pork is a sin from the Torah, but a secular newspaper is a destroyer of the soul from A to Z. It's like a death sentence to the soul to read those newspapers. Well, all the gossip and the lashon hara and the lies and destroying the life of people and lack of modesty and naked pictures and kfira in Hashem and so many instigations and fights and politics and dirt and who knows what else. Every possible sin is in those secular newspapers. However, because the ordinary people, which most of them are ignorant, and most Jews think that to eat pork is a bigger sin than to have a secular newspaper, therefore to drive the pork, it's a bigger chilul Hashem. It's not what's true, it's what the people understand. That's a very unique law. Usually it goes by what's correct and what's not correct. You don't understand, it's your problem. It's not my problem that you're an ignorant. But when it comes to chilul Hashem, it doesn't matter. It's what the public think. And therefore, if this chassid, for instance, will take off his peot and his beard in his community, He's not violating a rule from the Torah of not having a long beard. It's not an obligation to have a long beard. It's the same thing, peot. But now when he had it for years, and his father still have it, and his rabbi, and his community, and his everyone around him, and he decide to be different than everyone, that's create Chilul Hashem. Plus Lashon Hara, plus gossip, plus embarrassment for his parents, and for his family, and who knows what else. Therefore, if a person wants to do it and he doesn't want to give up, at least he moved to a place that nobody knows him, and over there he start his life as a brand new person. At least there's no Chilul Hashem over there, because nobody know who he is. And he shows there with his new image. Next thing, I got razors from the army. The army gives soldiers, in some places, razors. What does a man need razor for, besides committing suicide? To shave his beard, no? So I'm not using it because I'm religious. But my secular friend is asking me for my razors, because it's either throwing them to the garbage or saving him 10 shekel next week when he needs to buy his own razors. So he's asking me to give it to him. Am I allowed to give it to him or no?
No.
The answer, it's a violation of the Torah, לפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול, and a rabbinical violation of מסייע לדבר עבירה. Two sins here. One sin from the Torah says, לפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול. And second is rabbinical violation of helping a sinner committing a sin. I want to ask you a question. Why is it here, it's not betray Avra de Nahara, the two sides of the river, because you can get the razors anywhere, with or without you. So why they say that it's a violation? Shouldn't be a violation. You can get it anywhere else. It's only a violation lifnei iver if this Jew could not get it anywhere, and you gave it to him because of that. He made the sin. So that's called lifnei iver. But if you ask me to give him, and if I won't give him, he goes across the street and buy it, one way or the other he's going to shave. I don't know. I have to look it up.
Because it's free when he has to pay for it.
One way or the other, we know he's going to buy it. We're not talking about buying a house here.
He's shaving it anyway this way. What's the difference?
Why give it to him? Throw it out.
He's not supposed to give it to him.
No. So that's a rabbinical violation. מסייע לדבר עבירה.
I'm not so sure it's the derais, it's other.
Based on what he says here, it's also Isur D'Oraita. Next thing.
So rather, if somebody asks you for a ride to, I don't know, not a good place. And you say, oh,
Not allowed to give him. If he tells you in advance where he's going, take me to the bar.
Okay.
Not allowed to take
He
him.
says, if you don't take me, I take the car service. Now, so you take him? Same
You're still not allowed to take him.
idea. So
Same
you
idea.
find the rate.
No, I'm not asking if it's permitted or not. We know for sure it's not allowed. I'm asking why it's Isur D'Oraita.
Same thing, because then why not?
No, because the same thing over there, by taking him with the car, he could get there with or without you. It's only Isur D'Oraita if without your car, he won't make it there. For instance, it's a guy that is broke. He doesn't have $50 for a cab. Doesn't have. He only can get to the bar if you're doing a favor and take him a ride. Then it's become a sin from the Torah, because without you, the sin will not take place. But if with or without you is going to get there, just you make it more convenient for him. Then it's rabbinical sin, not D'Oraita. We have to look into
The
it.
idea is probably this, that you don't know, and it's not going to be your business to know if he can get there without you or he cannot. Your job is not to do that. That's probably a violation.
You didn't get what I say. One way or the other, it's not allowed. No, it's not debating if it's allowed or not. For sure, it's not allowed. I'm asking if it's a sin from the Torah or it's a rabbinical sin. That's it.
It's from the Torah, and I gave my point why. Because you're not supposed to think that he can get it, doesn't matter what, you're just providing him convenience, and then it's rabbinical only. Your job is not to give him the means to commit the sins. That's it. And that's why you're not going to do it. Without thinking, is it just a convenience or supplying him the resource for that, and you are the only resource?
Okay. A woman goes with her husband to a place, and the husband is very cold, and she has a nice coat, but it's feminine, but it's freezing. So he wants to wear his wife's coat. Somewhere nobody sees them. He's sitting in a bus stop, middle of the night, and it's freezing. But the Torah said that a man cannot wear women's clothing. And that's obviously, we're not talking about a coat that can be also a man coat. Sometimes it could be, it's hard to tell. We're talking for sure it looks like a lady coat. So the question is he allowed or no?
Absolutely allowed. Absolutely allowed.
The answer is allowed. Why? Because when he wears it, he's not wearing it to look in a certain way. Like the whole problem is when a person dressed like a woman because he thinks it's beautiful, and that's how he wants to present himself. But if he's freezing now, he wants a blanket. Whatever blanket you give him right now, he's going to use. He has no intention to wear ladies' clothes. If it's in public, it's a different story. That's why I say middle of the night. I usually don't add extra words to my story. If you pay attention, every word changing the final answer. If I didn't say in the middle of the night, then you should have asked me your question. But because I say in the middle of the night, because I knew someone would ask this question.
Even if it's not in the middle of the night, let's say it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
He's not wearing it. He just put it.
If he covers himself like this with a blanket, everybody sees he's not wearing it.
So what?
No problem.
He's doing it. Even if he put the fur coat from the woman, he's doing it temporarily to get warm. He's not going to wear it. It's not what he's doing. He's not wearing it. He's getting warm. He is protecting himself. Everybody understands he's free.
You're breaking the rules of the New Year. Now.
I forgot. Only the family allowed.
All right. Now, a man that his hair coming out of his nose, and he has these machines that goes inside and cut it. Is he allowed to cut the hair from inside or no? The answer, yes. Why? It's removing ugliness. That's permitted. Removing ugliness, permitted, yes. Now, are women allowed to put earrings in parts of the body that it's not in the acceptable place over here, like on the nose, on the eyebrow, on the tongue, and other places? Are they allowed or no? So the question is, why Rivka Imenu had on her nose an earring? The answer, in a time of Rivka, it was acceptable. There was nothing strange. Today it's strange. And that's why it's not allowed. It's minhag hagoyim. What about a man? Needless to say. Needless to say. There is a course that the goyim makes to improve personality. The goyim, they open up a course. They say, you eat like an animal that likes to eat, without saying the name of that animal. You eat too much, we will teach you how to control your habits. You're too angry, we will teach you how to overcome your anger. They have courses for free, with money. Is a Jew allowed to participate in these courses? After all, the target is the same thing what the Torah requires from us anyway. The Torah say not to eat too much. The Torah say not to be angry. The Torah say to control your desires. All these things is the interest of Hashem. So if Tony is an expert on teaching people how to control their anger, why not to go and learn from Tony to achieve what I'm supposed to achieve with or without him? Allowed or not allowed? The answer, not allowed. If Tony teach math, it's allowed. If Tony teach science, it's allowed. If Tony teach stock market, it's allowed. If Tony teach things from the Torah, not allowed to learn from him. But not only from Tony, also from Yossi, and from Itzik, and from Avi. Everyone that doesn't live according to the rules of the Torah cannot be your teacher in any spiritual way. Remember these rules. Why? To correct the midot, to improve the traits, it's a part of the Torah. It's a requirement for men, for women. Every human being has to work on his negative personality to improve it. Therefore, since it's an obligation from the Torah, you only learn from kosher people. Why? The Shulchan Aruch say you're not allowed to learn Torah from someone that is not decent. It's halakha in Shulchan Aruch. So if you know this person is greedy and all he wants is money, 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 but he teach you the correct Torah, it's not good to learn from him Torah. Why? Because while you're receiving Torah from one individual, his negative personality penetrates your heart with the Torah that he plants inside your heart. That's why you have to be very, very careful who you're learning from. You gotta be very careful. And that's why some people knows a lot of Torah, but they behave worse than dogs. One of the reasons is the one that taught them behaved like a dog, and he affected them to such a way that they became like him. And that's called, in the language of Chazal, Talmid Chacham shemidotav ra'ot, nevela srucha bashuk tova mimeno. Someone who knows a lot of Torah, but behave bad, his personality, his traits is bad. A dead rat on the street is better than him. That's a very serious statement here. It doesn't say he's not a perfect human being. He has to improve. He has to correct his personality. Stay away from him for now. That's not what it says. It says a dead rat on the street is better than him. Chazal wanted to make a clear point here. Stay away from him like a fire. Yeah.
The thing I was saying before, do we believe in such a thing as having a bad day? Bad mazel? It's like somebody, for example, I know some guy married, got divorced 3 times. Let's say the guy has bad mazel. Does it mean, is that a Jewish...
Someone who gets divorced 3 times, most of the time, it's his fault. However, not always. Sometimes you go on a marriage and they mislead you. You go, you meet a girl, they tell you she's great, she's from Bet Yaakov, she's Made, she's Dutch, she's a believer, she comes from a good family, she doesn't have a record, and 3 months after you marry to her, you find out that everything they told you, it's the opposite. Or the other way, it could be also with a man. They present him as a great guy and learner, he was in this yeshiva and in that yeshiva, and in the end he's a monster. So that's called getting married based on false information. However, if it repeats 3 times, it's a little bit hard to say that all 3 times he was fooled like that. Because usually you learn after once or twice, no? No, there's nothing to do with mazel.
What does the Gemara say if a woman loses her husband 2 times, she's never married?
Yeah, no, that's isha katlanit. If a woman get married and her husband died, and then she got married again and her husband died again, better not to marry her.
So that's a concept that does exist.
It doesn't say it's not allowed. Better not to. Maybe she put poisons in the middle of the night. Chachamim had to be cautious. Let me ask you a question. Without Torah, forget for a minute Torah. If they offer you a girl that already 2 of her husbands died, without Torah, would you take the risk marrying her? How would you be able to fall asleep? Forget about Torah. Chachamim also give good advices regardless. Maybe not her fault. 100%.
Mazel doesn't exist.
Not for Jews. Not for Jews.
It's a bad day.
Yeah. In case you plan to put Tehillim in shoes and garlic under your kippah and parsley under your pillow.
So I have a question.
Think again.
Let's say a person, they don't keep any mitzvot, and they're Jewish from birth, so they don't have mazal?
Again, every person is born in a certain mazal. But the Jews, with their actions, are over the mazal. The mazal is not a factor in the life of a Jew. The Gemara says, Israel me'al hamazal. The mazal applies for the goyim. The Jews are above the mazal. $1 you put in a box, all this effect of the mazal doesn't apply to you. And obviously we are doing a lot more mitzvot. A normal kosher Jew, almost every minute of his life is a mitzvah. Whether he learns, he drives the car, he listens to CD, he does chasadim, he's on the way to shul 3 times a day, he donates money, he comes home, he helps in the house, he's busy with mitzvot, one after the other. What mazal?
Sure, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a person. Some people are more emotional than others. Some people, they get angry faster than others.
No, that's a different story. I already explained that the midot of a person is how you died. You were born angry as a kid, you died angry. You were born stingy, you were stingy when you died as an old man. So you were born with the same weakness because Hashem is giving you another opportunity to correct it. It's not a roulette in Shamayim that before you're born Hashem say, okay, let's see what's going to be the fortune of Mr. Shem Tov. He's rolling it. Oh, the red is bad anger. It came on number 27. It's very high anger. Okay, no, we put anger in his package. Rolling it. Oh, generosity. Okay, put it in his basket. Roll the roulette again. Oh, it doesn't work like this.
Right.
It works how you died. If before you came to the world, you were Henry, a Jewish man from Hungary, Budapest. You live over there, and you died an angry person and very stingy. Now you're born little Itzy in Borough Park. This Itzy is Henry. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. But he doesn't know. When he was Henry, he was very stingy and very angry. His mother go crazy. He's 2 years old. He breaks things. He screams. He doesn't get a candy. He rolls in the middle of the supermarket. And when she finally buys him a bag of candy, he doesn't want to share even one. How is it like this? He's a kid. He doesn't know what to do, what not to do. That's how he died. That's his nature. He died like that. So he was back to the world like that. And if he was generous as an old man, and when he's born, he's a generous kid. What he corrected, he doesn't have Yetzer Hara against it. What he did not correct, he still have Yetzer Hara to be the same. Why? Because that's his test. Woman that died modest, she does not have desire to walk naked on the street. Woman that died very not modest in her previous life, that's all she wants. She's 3 years old, she's already trying her mother's clothes by the mirror. Right? She walks with the heels. 3 years old. What does she know from her life? That's how she died. She has the same desire. Last question for today, before the astrologers continue to attack me from right and left. The answer is, are we allowed to do a tattoo? Temporary tattoo. Relax. That reminds me of the joke that one time Yitzhak Rabin, that passed away already, he came to a shoe store because he was talking very slow. You know, we believe in the peace. That's how he used to talk. So he came to a shoe store here in Brooklyn, and the guy asked him, Mr. Rabin, what size shoe you are? So he told him, 9. The guy ran. By the time he came back, he said, 1.5. So now I say it on purpose. I say, are we allowed to do tattoo? Waited for all of you to scream no. And then I say temporary one. I'm not going to ask you a question of kindergarten. Come on. So the answer is, there are temporary tattoos for a day. While you're doing, taking a shower, it wash off. Allowed or not? It's not going under the skin like the Torah said.
The answer is not allowed.
So it's not a sin of tattoo because it's not a real tattoo. What about the Chilul Hashem?
Yes.
That people see it. Let's say a man walks with short sleeves and he put over here tattoo, Leah, I love you. Tomorrow he's going to put Sarah, I love you. For today it's Leah. He has stickers in his home.
He had a tattoo before he became a Baal Shua. So can he go to the mikvah? Is it Chilul Hashem?
Oh, once it's already in the body, there's nothing he can do. It becomes an integral part.
People see it.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. In Vishnitz, they have a sign: no one with tattoo is allowed in a mikveh. Yes. Why? Because these little pure Hasidic boys, they see this and they go crazy. They learn that a Jew is not allowed to have tattoo. They don't know gray, the kids. It's either black or white. They don't want their kids to grow confused. What? We go to yeshiva and they say tattoo, it's a sinner, tattoo, it's a sinner, and all of a sudden my guest from Shabbos is going with my father to the mikveh and he's now putting his shirt and he's all his body is his tattoos. What this boy is supposed to think?
That this is the sinner?
No, that maybe my Rabbi lied to me. It's not such a bad deal. If my father is so nice to him with all his tattoos, probably it's not such a big deal.
My father is a nice guy, he is nice to the sinner sometimes.
So the answer is, to make it as a tattoo, it's not a violation of tattoo, because it's not a real tattoo. However, it's create Chilul Hashem, because not everyone knows it's temporary. They may think you made a tattoo, and that's already Chilul Hashem, even for a minute. Where is the proof that 1 minute Chilul Hashem, it's also a sin, even if in the next minute you will find out there was a mistake. So it's only 1 minute Chilul Hashem. Do you know what's the main reason why Moshe Rabbeinu did not enter Eretz Israel? He had 5 incidents overall, but one was major. And because of that, he did not enter Eretz Israel. Which one? Mei Meriva. 1 minute that Moshe hit the rock once, and then second time and the water came out, that 1 minute that all the wicked people, Datan and Aviram and all the rest were laughing, you see, we told Moshe to get us water from this rock, he wanted from that rock, we told him, let's see you getting it from this rock, and he could not get us the water, and everyone laughed, and all of a sudden tons of water came out, so they all were silent. But for the 1 minute Chilul Hashem, Hashem said to Moshe, you won't enter the Holy Land, which was the dream of his life. So 1 minute Chilul Hashem, even if it's a temporary tattoo, and one person saw it, even for 5 seconds, oh, Itzik, you made a tattoo? No, don't worry, it's a gum sticker. You know when they sell the gums, you put some saliva, you put it on. That's how it used to be in Israel. The kids, they put it usually over here. Sticker on the body. If it looks like a tattoo, then it's become a Chilul Hashem.
Rabbi, why do we say Mazal Tov then?
That's a good question. Really, why?
Why do we say Mazal Tov?
That's what we wish.
No, but it's the point. We are not subject to this mazal.
If we do what's right. If we don't do what's right, it affects even
If
more.
we live like a Yidden, if we live like a Goy, you can put yourself in the Mazal. But if you live like a Jew, they don't know.
It's a very good question. It sounds like a not such a big deal question, but it's a big deal question. I promise you it is. It may be a big mistake to say it. Woman that got burned from boiling water, and she has a scar, and they suggested that they'll make a special tattoo over it for all these marks to disappear, that it looks like her skin is soft and equal color. And she's asking if doing this ink, this special beige color skin, like the color, smearing it under the skin, making her hands or whatever looks better, if it's considered tattoo or not.
Not considered tattoo.
No.
What do you think?
It looks like a skin graft?
No.
The answer, it's allowed, because it's not writing. Drawing and writing tattoos, it's minhag hagoyim. Making equal pigment, what do you call it, colors, that's not a sin.
Also because of the purpose. The idea was the idol worship of the tattoo. This is definitely not going to this source.
But today it doesn't matter. Even
I know.
even if you put tattoo, Hashem, I love you,
I know.
Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, Star David, it's still the same
We
sin.
cannot override the written Torah. That's why we don't do it anyway, because nobody can override the truth from the written Torah.
Right.
But the idea was not to do it is definitely not going to be under this category.
Is it a restriction to bury a Jew with tattoo? Jew that died and he has tattoos on his body. They want to bury him now.
It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah.
Is it allowed or not?
Only certain communities, but it's allowed.
So the answer is, making a tattoo, it's a very big sin when you made the tattoo. After that, you don't have a sin of tattoo anymore. The sin is to do a tattoo, not to have a tattoo on the body. To make the tattoo, it's a big sin. Once it's on the body, that's it, it's on the body. It's constant chilul Hashem, you're right. There's nothing you can do about it anymore, besides hiding it.
And you can wear
The question that I ask is not this. They ask now the Chavrat Kadisha is about to bury this body. So they see that he has tattoos. Do they have to cut it out of the skin or burn it? Or they can bury him with the skin?
bury like a usual Jew.
The answer, almost everyone in the world thinks that it's forbidden to get buried with a tattoo on the body. The answer, it's allowed. If they cut it or burn it, that's chumrah. It's not an obligation. Therefore, if someone had a tattoo and they buried him with a tattoo, they did not violate any rule. And someone that became a Baal Tshuva, does he have an obligation to remove the tattoo or no? Because today they have with a laser. It's very painful and you have to go to many sessions, but they can remove the tattoos today.
No obligation.
Depends where it is.
It prevents Chilul Hashem. You have money for
No
it.
obligation.
The answer, the tshuva erased the sin, not the laser.
Exactly.
However, if it's in an open place, or if it's a not modest picture, you know, sometimes they do all kind of stupid pictures, or it's something Christian, or it's the name of your first girlfriend from high school and you're married now to a different woman, things that can create problems, then it becomes almost an obligation. Almost an obligation. But if it's, you know, sometimes just a picture, an image, which is not avodah zarah, it's no obligation, but it's always better. Next week, I'm giving you a preview of next week. Actually, it's still early. Let's steal another 10 minutes of your time, with your permission. Is it allowed to smoke?
No.
Those who say no have to explain how come so many religious people with beautiful beards and sombreros spread smokes everywhere they go.
Not when start smoking. Once you start,
He has a beautiful chiluk. You're not allowed to start smoking, but now you're already smoking, it's allowed. The answer, wrong. It's not allowed to smoke all the time. However, we have more sympathy and understanding to someone that is already heavily addicted to cigarettes than someone who is religious and is not addicted and is starting. It's much, much easier for us to blame the one who starts much more than someone who smokes already 20 years, 2 packs a day. But really, if it's a sin from the Torah or not, one way or the other, it's a sin, it's a violation of v'nishmartem lenafshotechem. It's already been proven that cigarettes killed and caused more than 80 diseases to the person. I saw the list, I think 84, proven scientifically that it creates, besides cancer and lung problems and all kinds of other things, it creates many different sicknesses to the body of a person. That's why every cigarette shortened the life by a few minutes, if you look at that statistically. Therefore, it's no permission in the Torah to shorten your life. But it's not only applied to cigarettes. Obviously, it's about drugs. Obviously, it's about food that is not healthy. too much from not healthy food also can cause heart attacks and other problems. Therefore, anything that jeopardizes the health, it's a sin from the Torah. We know they estimate in America every year 500,000 people die from cigarettes. In Israel, 10,000 people.
Wow.
Every year because of cigarettes. Yes.
Is it believed that if someone's lying down, it's not proper for another person to walk over them?
Also nonsense.
Nonsense?
Yes. Allowed to walk over someone. But you're not allowed to pass a baby over a table. Table, we give respect to the table. It's like Mizrach, or to put him on the table. But even if there's no other place to change the diaper, no other place, what are you going to do? Put the baby on the floor? Make him freeze? Whatever. There's no. But in general, we don't sit on tables, we don't lay on tables and things like this. We give respect to the table that we eat on. Someone that smokes in public, does he have din rodef? Din rodef means someone who jeopardizes another Jew is a threat. The Torah allows to hurt him, to make him stop hurting others. First, of course, you have to give him a warning. And if the warning does not help, you have to take any actions you can to stop him. Of course, when he is about to kill a person, you're even allowed to kill him. However, here it's not about to kill someone. We're not talking about killing him. What the question is, we knock down the cigarette from his hand, or we go into big arguments with him, or we call the police, whatever. All these things that will make him stop smoking. Does he have a judgment of din rodef that we can take actions against him or no?
Secondhand smoke.
Yeah, because they call it secondhand smokers because we breathe the smoke. Some claim even that the ones who breathe it get affected more than the actual smoker. Hard to understand how, but that's what they claim. So the answer is not. Why? There's no question that it causes damage to people who breathe it. So the question is why it doesn't have din rodef, because the danger is not instant. You're only allowed to stop the person if the danger is now that if you don't stop him now, it's going to be too late. But over here, the danger is in a very, very long run. It's not a direct danger that can kill him now. It may kill him in 40 years overall. That's why we don't have the power when the danger is not instant.
And the same thing should apply with Shmatzes Nafshasechem. Yosher says, like I said before, that you shouldn't start. But once you start, since the danger is not instant, it's not Shmatzes Nafshasechem.
Yeah, but every cigarette.
Same reason.
But you see that people that smoke, they cough, they have problems, their health, they cannot run anymore, they cannot climb the stairs. It's definitely hurting their health.
Yosher says not the available of Shmatzes Nafshasechem. Exactly because of what you said. It's not the danger immediately.
Someone asks you for fire. Excuse me, buddy, do you have a match or a lighter? He has a cigarette in his mouth and he wants you to light the cigarette for him. Allowed or not allowed? You just lit one for yourself and he asks you also to lit for him.
Say yes.
The answer allowed. Why?
You get it from somebody else.
I'll get it one way or the other from someone else. So let's give the answer to what I asked before.
Sometimes by the
Before, remember what I asked before? Why is לפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול?
It's true.
So we were right with the comments we made before. If you will find a way to do the sin anyway, it's not become a sin from the Torah. Over here, the same thing. With or without you, he's going to light the cigarette.
Sometimes by the time he finds a light, he could have smoked 2 cigarettes already.
So why do some groups get drunk all the time?
Huh?
So what, alcohol?
Alcohol, it's not a danger unless if you take too much of it. You can drink little by little all day alcohol, 1 sip, and 2 minutes later a little bit, and it doesn't affect you anything. It only affects you if you drink a massive amount in a short period of time. That's already you can become drunk. Yeah, but if you do little by little, the body handle it. The problem with all this alcoholic, they finish a bottle like this in 10 minutes. Like this, they're drinking faster than I drink my water, you see? That's a problem. The liver cannot handle such an amount of alcohol in one shot. That's a problem. Next. Are we allowed to smoke nargila? It's in style today. But we only smoke hookah. Hookah. The answer, much more dangerous than a cigarette and causing a much bigger damage. Yeah. We're learning some things here tonight.
I heard the opposite. Is that true, Rabbi? That's not dangerous.
Huh?
I heard Megillah is not dangerous.
Not true.
Old timers smoke.
No, it's a big problem. Are we supposed to call the police and report a driver that drives talking on his cell phone?
It's the law of the land.
Huh?
The law of the land. It's against the law.
Against the law. Are we supposed to turn him into the police?
Why not?
So if he is a Jew or not Jew?
No,
Jew.
Jew you cannot turn to the grave. No way. No
The
way.
answer is yes.
No way.
He's risking the life of others around him.
100%.
Today, you have speakers. You have a speaker in a car. You talk. You don't need to hold the phone like this. But there are people, when they talk on the phone, they can drive into a cliff.
What is the chances that
They're not here.
What is the chances that he's going to have the accident talking about? The chances are very slim. He's not drunk. He's just talking on the phone. You causing a problem to another Jew.
Let me answer you. Right now on the road in Israel, there's 100,000 cars with 100,000 drivers. 1,000 of them driving, holding a phone to their ear. If these 1,000 that does it on a daily basis would know that people report them to the police with their plate number, even if there was no danger right now, maybe all 1,000 drove to them, they did not kill anyone. But once a year, or twice a year, or 10 times a year, they kill people. There's accidents because of cell phone. So the question now is, if drivers would know that by talking on the phone, any driver near them can report them to the police, what would happen? They won't dare to talk. Because right now, we are talking on the phone like this because we know there's no police around. But if every driver is a police, no one would dare to do it, especially when there's high fines and all kinds of things. That can eliminate the problem immediately.
I agree. You know what would happen? You're absolutely right. Nobody would like to live in Israel, and everybody would go and live in another country. That's exactly what happened.
So we move to Russia.
Yeah,
Okay.
to the United States, like both of us.
Rabbi, you can't even do that in America. We call the police.
Is it an obligation to make bars in the window in house that there are little children?
If this is the local law, yes, you have to comply with the
I'm talking laws of the Torah.
law.
In the laws of the Torah, if you have a house, you must have rails. In every place that people can fall, in your roof or by your stairs, people can fall to the side. There's hazard. You must make a rail. If you don't do it, it's a violation of the Torah. We are now talking, you live on the 20th floor, and even though you make sure that the windows are always closed, you know how it is. It's enough that one time, just in Israel now, one Hasidic baby fell from the window and died. You know, so the question is, we hear every year that it happens few times. The question is it an obligation or no? The answer, absolutely. Absolutely an obligation. Then, one more thing, are we allowed to, are we allowed, are we, why don't they talk in the middle of the room here? Are we allowed to work in a profession that have some kind of a risk? Such as security.
Yes.
Bouncer in a restaurant. You know, when the Arabs come, the suicide terrorists, you have to check their bags. He may pull the string. It's a risk. But you need parnasa. Or policemen. Policemen, it's a risk. It's more risk than a regular math teacher, even though it's not so sure anymore. In class, he can get killed faster, the teacher, in those public schools here today. But I heard they have metal detector, so maybe he can get saved. But the question, you know, police is dangerous. dangerous.
Except the risk.
The question is it allowed to work in these kinds of job from the Torah or not? The answer, yes. Why?
Acceptable risk.
It's an acceptable risk. Yes. But what happened if every 100 cups, 50 of them would get killed within a year? It would not be permitted to be a cup. It would not be. But since right now 1 out of 10,000 may get hurt, or maybe out of 50,000, I don't know the statistic. But obviously there are a million cups, and once a year you hear about 1 or 2 that died or whatever. Therefore, it makes it a reasonable amount of risk. Just being a driver is just as much of a risk, or crossing the street. One athlete is sailing in the Yarkon River in Israel, which is a very dirty river. All the chemicals and the garbage was thrown into that, into that river. So this athlete, her boat flipped over, and she's almost drowning in a horrible, dirty water over there. And people were afraid to jump into the water because they hear on the news that it can cause cancer, all the chemicals from these big factories that they dumped over there. And in the end, one person jumped and saved her life, but she is now in a critical condition. So everyone there in a group that hesitated if to jump or not, and it took more than a minute until they jumped, and that's what caused her to be in critical condition. They asked if they did the right thing in the eyes of the Torah or the wrong thing. That they had an obligation to jump into this water, may taking a risk to save her life, or since the water may cause me any potential problems later on, I don't have an obligation to save her life.
Depends how
Like the Bible in Yishalmi. Yishalmi says you're supposed to know.
No?
Depends how well you know it's going to be potential. If you know for sure it's going to cost you, then you don't have obligation. But if you just make guess on the not high probability, it's like a violate the Shabbos for saving somebody else's life.
You have a good point. This is one of the questions that we will only know the final answer only when Mashiach comes. It's an equal argument in Judaism between the Chachamim. The Rabbi say that a person can save his friend, must save his friend, but not to jeopardize himself while doing that. Because the Torah already told us, "Chayecha kodmim lechayecha vercha." Your life is more important to you than the life of your friend. You're not allowed to prefer the life of your friend on the expense of losing your own life. Even if he's your son, even if he's your father. Only if he's a very big rabbi, you're allowed to save his life by losing your own life. Why? Because it's a help for the Jewish nation. But other than that, your life comes first. That's what the Gemara in Baba Metzia says, 2 people walks in a desert. One of them has water. If they both drink, they both die. If one will drink, he'll get saved and the other one will die. But he wants to be generous and give it to his friend because he said, okay, I'll give it to you and I'll die. It's okay, you get saved. The answer, he has to drink it first and not to give it to his friend. So, according to the Radbaz, if you can save him without jeopardizing yourself, then it's allowed. However, it says in Yerushalmi that one Talmid Chacham was caught by wicked people. And they said, we're going to prepare for you a bag that we will bury your body in this bag. That was the plan, to kill him. Rish Lakish say, I'm going to kill them or to get killed. One of the two. I may come back, I may not come back. Rish Lakish went and saved him. Rish Lakish had a history, used to be a gangster. So he went, he already knew how to fight these people from his old days, and he ended up saving him, even though it risked his life. However, there's a question here. Maybe the only reason he did it because he was a big rabbi. And I just say, when it's a big rabbi, it's a different story. You're allowed to risk your life. If it would be an ordinary person, maybe Rish Lakish wouldn't have permission to go and save him. After reviewing it from all directions, there's one more story here. It says Gemara in Sanhedrin, page Ayin Gimel, page 73. Someone sees his friend drowning in a river, or an animal is dragging him. He's dragged by a lion or by a bird, but he's still alive, or a crocodile. It's pulling him to a side because he wants to eat him in a minute. Or robbers are attacking him. He must save him, the Gemara say. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Don't see the blood of your friend spilling and ignore it. So we see that there's different stories which gives us different points of views about this question. The Rambam, when he brought it in Halakha, he didn't write river. He changed it into an ocean, because the ocean is much more dangerous than a river. In a river, you can somehow make it to the side of the river, but ocean, in the middle of the ocean, you cannot save yourself. So therefore, technically, because we don't know, no one can take any actions against someone who was afraid to save someone else because it jeopardizes his health. What happens if you have to give a finger to save the life of your friend? You won't die, but you will lose a finger. And it actually happened in a war. One Israeli soldier got a bullet and was dripping blood, and another soldier was pressing the vein with his thumb for a long artery, but for a long, long time. But after a while, your hands become numb, because you yourself don't have circulations of blood, and it becomes purple. But if you leave it, tons of blood will comes out, and he'll die right away. So the helicopter came, and then they told him, "Don't leave your finger." He said, "I'm dying. It hurts. I'm going to lose my own finger." And they ended up landing in Haifa in a hospital, and the life of that soldier got saved. So the question is, did he have an obligation to lose his finger to save his life? The answer is no. When it says your life comes first, even a part of your life, one organ on your body also. But we'll finish with telling you what happened with that story. After that soldier arrived to Israel, Baruch Hashem, he did not lose his finger. After an hour, circulation started, and he did not have to cut his finger off. And he sat there for hours and reading Tehillim. In the meantime, the family of the soldier that got the bullet arrived to the hospital, but they were so shocked that they didn't even realize that this soldier who's standing here reading Tehillim for their son is the one that they owe him the life of their son. So they ignored him. They ran quickly into the room, and by the time they finished there, he already had to leave. So they went crazy. How are they going to find that soldier? They don't know who he is. So they have a grocery store in Kiryat Malachi, in Los Angeles of Israel. Kiryat Malachi means Los Angeles. No, at least they think they are Los Angeles. One thing for sure, there's less traffic there. If I was in LA many times, 5 o'clock, 5 a.m., bumper to bumper on the 495. 5 a.m., bumper to bumper, 5 a.m., on the way to the airport. 5 a.m., you miss your flight. You cannot drive on the highway. So, in Kiryat Malachi, they have a grocery store. They put a big sign. Our soldier got saved in this date by an anonymous soldier. Our son got saved by an anonymous soldier. And we don't know who he is and where we can find him to thank him. Anyone who heard the story that knows who this soldier is and can tell us, please come. After a few weeks that the sign was on the wall, on the window of the grocery, one woman walks in. She looked at the sign. She comes in and says, "Wow, I can't believe it. That was my son. He came home that night. I asked him, what happened?" He said, I was in a combat. My friend got a bullet. I had to save his life. I went to the hospital. I read Tehillim. He came. It was very late. I'm so excited to see it. So they say, "Wow, please bring your son. We want to thank him, please." So then she said to the woman, don't you know me? Don't you know me? She said to the mother of the wounded soldier. She said, you look a little familiar, but from where I know you? She said, 20 years ago, we were in the same hospital. You came to make an abortion, and I stood there for hours convincing you not to make an abortion. And in the end, you agree not to make an abortion. And now Hashem made it that my son actually saved your own son. ממש הקדוש ברוך הוא turned it around, that the soldier that actually saved his life was the one that came to the world thanks to the mother of the wounded soldier. You understand what happens here? What are the odds? We'll see you Bezrat Hashem next Tuesday, 8:30. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen.